I've been waiting my whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for the View host, Sunny Hostin, has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud. And I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the
Sunny Hostin is now caught in a crisis of enormous scale, one that could upend her finances and permanently damage her public standing. What started as troubling developments has suddenly escalated into a jaw-dropping legal bombshell. Her husband has reportedly been taken into custody as part of a sprawling RICO investigation tied to an alleged $450 million fraud operation. The rapid unraveling has left many stunned. Not long ago, the couple projected an image of influence, success, and near invincibility. Today, that glossy facade is cracking under intense scrutiny. How did a life that once seemed so secure collapse with such speed? And this story is far from finished. The legal pressure is mounting, the spotlight is growing harsher, and the consequences appear far more serious than anyone initially imagined. What's unfolding now isn't just a scandal. It's a deepening crisis with long-term repercussions still waiting to surface.
Great time you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the show? And then she also, on Trump's win, calling the loss because of uneducated white women that Trump won.
We have to know that. This is accused.
All accused. Yeah, all accused, but he's in the RICO. This is a big RICO case that her husband...
Sunny Hostin likely believed her most difficult moments would play out under studio lights, sparring over politics on The View. Now, those on-air clashes seem minor compared to the personal storm unfolding off camera. When a daytime talk show feels calm next to real-world controversy, it signals just how serious the situation has become. This time, the headlines aren't driven by sharp commentary or debate. The focus has shifted to her husband, an orthopedic surgeon whose alleged business activities have drawn intense legal scrutiny. What was once a private matter has now become a public legal challenge, raising questions about potential financial fallout and long-term consequences. As the story develops, the contrast is striking. Television arguments fade quickly, but legal uncertainty lingers. For Sunny Hostin, the chaos she's facing now goes far beyond televised debate, placing her family and future under a level of pressure no studio audience can match.
Surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Twites, denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread...
Picture beginning the day focused on operating rooms, patient charts, and routine schedules, only to have it end under the weight of a $450 million federal case. It's the kind of turn that leaves even seasoned observers stunned. What once looked like a stable, successful life has suddenly been overshadowed by serious legal allegations. According to court filings, Sunny Hostin's husband has been accused of playing a role in what prosecutors describe as one of the largest insurance fraud cases of its kind. The claims stand in sharp contrast to years of public commentary centered on ethics, responsibility, and accountability. When allegations of this scale surface, public credibility can erode quickly. The shift is dramatic and deeply unsettling. A reputation built over decades now faces scrutiny from every angle, with potential legal costs and financial exposure looming large. What was once a position of moral authority is now clouded by unanswered questions, and the consequences could extend far beyond the courtroom.
Co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgery.
Here is where the story takes a dramatic and troubling turn. Dr. Emmanuel Host now finds himself at the center of serious allegations that have sent shockwaves through the medical and legal communities. Federal claims suggest he may have accepted improper payments tied to surgical procedures that patients allegedly did not need. According to the accusations, operations involving knees, shoulders, and other joints were reportedly approved not because they were medically required, but because they generated high insurance payouts. Investigators claim insurance providers were billed for treatments that were either unnecessary or, in some cases, may not have occurred as documented. If proven, the implications are severe. What patients believed was legitimate medical care is now being questioned as part of a wider scheme focused on financial gain. Authorities describe it as a profound breach of trust, one that turns the doctor-patient relationship into a centerpiece of an unfolding legal battle. School. Just when it appears the situation can't grow more serious, the pressure escalates even further. As allegations swirl around Dr. Emmanuel Host involving vast sums of questionable income, Sunny Hostin has continued to present a calm, carefully controlled presence on television. To viewers, it may look like business as usual, but behind the scenes, the stakes are far higher than any studio debate. Many expected a clear public response or acknowledgement. Instead, there's been restraint and limited commentary, as if maintaining composure on camera might quiet the growing legal storm. But history suggests otherwise. When a case of this magnitude dominates headlines, particularly one unfolding in New York, silence rarely closes the chapter. This situation also stands apart from the political controversies audiences are used to seeing. It isn't about partisan arguments or televised sparring. The accusations center on insurance fraud, questionable medical billing, and alleged fabricated procedures, all tied to claims of an organized scheme. As investigators dig deeper, the contrast between a polished public image and a rapidly expanding legal case becomes harder to ignore and far more difficult to contain.
It's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange of...
Set aside the movie references. This case reads more like a medical drama with a serious criminal investigation at its core. Prosecutors allege that licensed surgeons operated within a network that functioned less like a healthcare system and more like a coordinated financial operation. It's a claim that has stunned both the medical and legal communities. Insurance companies are often criticized for denying care, and that skepticism is well-earned. Patients regularly face delays or rejections for procedures they truly need. However, in this specific case, investigators argue the insurers are not the wrongdoers. Instead, they are described as the alleged victims of a scheme that exploited billing systems for financial gain. The allegations suggest that millions of dollars meant for legitimate patient care were improperly diverted. That money, prosecutors say, could have supported individuals who genuinely require treatment. The scope of the case is vast, with nearly 180 defendants named, highlighting how extensive the alleged operation may have been. Adding another layer of complexity is Sunny Hostin's public role. As a prominent voice on The View, she has built a reputation around accountability and justice. Now, she finds herself under the same public examination she has often directed at others. The irony has not gone unnoticed, as scrutiny intensifies both inside and outside the courtroom. This story continues to unfold, and its implications stretch far beyond television commentary. At its core, the case raises serious questions about trust, oversight, and the integrity of systems meant to protect patients, not exploit them.
This is why we need to seriously have a long, lengthy conversation about healthcare in the United States of America. This is basically it. So Sunny Hostin's husband was basically charged with insurance fraud. What he was doing was doing like fraudulent surgeries and then overcharging the insurance companies for him. This is what this is. So now, of course, he's now being named, along with about 200 other individuals, in a federal RICO charge case, guys.
Set aside the movie references. This case reads more like a medical drama with a serious criminal investigation at its core. Prosecutors allege that licensed surgeons operated within a network that functioned less like a healthcare system and more like a coordinated financial operation. It's a claim that has stunned both the medical and legal communities. Insurance companies are often criticized for denying care, and that skepticism is well-earned. Patients regularly face delays or rejections for procedures they truly need. However, in this specific case, investigators argue the insurers are not the wrongdoers. Instead, they're described as the alleged victims of a scheme that exploited billing systems for financial gain. The allegation suggests that millions of dollars meant for legitimate patient care were improperly diverted. That money, prosecutors say, could have supported individuals who genuinely required treatment. The scope of the case is vast, with nearly 180 defendants named, highlighting how extensive the alleged operation may have been. Adding another layer of complexity is Sunny Hostin's public role. As a prominent voice on The View, she has built a reputation around accountability and justice. Now, she finds herself under the same public examination she has often directed at others. The irony has not gone unnoticed, as scrutiny intensifies both inside and outside the courtroom. This story continues to unfold, and its implications stretch far beyond television commentary. At its core, the case raises serious questions about trust, oversight, and the integrity of systems meant to protect patients, not exploit them.
My whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for The View host Sunny Hostin has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got these women tell me why her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud. And I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury? Roll it in.
You know, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like
Sunny Hostin has remained publicly quiet, holding tightly to a carefully maintained on-air presence as the situation around her grows more serious by the day. There's a saying that trouble rarely arrives alone, and in this case, it feels less like a passing storm and more like a sustained downpour with no clear end in sight. While she continues to appear on The View, offering commentary and analysis, her personal life is being pulled into a far more consequential legal narrative. Her husband is accused of involvement in practices that investigators say drained insurance providers through questionable billing and disputed medical procedures. These are not fictional claims or exaggerated headlines. They're allegations now being examined in court. What makes the case even more significant is its scale. According to the lawsuit, this was not an isolated situation centered on one individual. Authorities allege a broader network that includes multiple doctors, clinics, and medical facilities operating in coordination. American Transit Insurance claims it was misled into paying millions of dollars for procedures that were unnecessary or improperly documented, and it is now seeking to recover those funds. AS investigators continue to untangle the details. The story keeps expanding. New questions are emerging, new parties are being examined, and the legal process is still unfolding. One thing is clear. This case is far from reaching its conclusion, and its impact may extend well beyond the courtroom.
We learned that Sunny's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, was named in a lawsuit filed by American Transit Insurance Company. He's one of 200 people named in this lawsuit, and they are accusing him of filing fraudulent insurance claims and also getting kickbacks from them. And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history, and they're seeking $450 million. And Sunny and her husband, they are fighting back. They've hired legal eagle Mark Garagos to help them fight this case, and they're claiming that this is completely
Attention has now shifted to the defense, and Dr. Emmanuel Host's legal team is pushing back forcefully. His attorney has dismissed the lawsuit as a last-ditch effort by a struggling insurance company, arguing that the claims are exaggerated and designed to deflect blame. It's a familiar strategy in high-stakes litigation, and one that adds another layer of tension to an already dramatic case. At the same time, Sunny Hostin's silence has become increasingly noticeable. Known for confronting public figures and controversy head-on, she has so far offered no public comment on the allegations surrounding her husband. That quiet has prompted speculation about whether she is deliberately stepping back or simply waiting for the legal process to unfold. What's clear is that this matter is unlikely to fade quietly. The allegations involve a complex medical fraud investigation, not a private dispute or passing rumor. As court proceedings advance and more details emerge, the pressure will only intensify. The next phase of this case could prove decisive for the defense, for the family involved, and for the public figures now tied to the story.